because of the work that we do, we give them these tools, which are the tools that they have to survive in the world we have created, as opposed to the world the horse comes from, which is the world created for. It now allows him, first and foremost, to have a choice, as opposed to flee, freeze, fight. How can I help you? Which we sort of call that, the word that I use is alpha. That's a word that came up. And it's not the word that one knows, which is a herd horse or anything like that. And the more we have that, or should I say, the more alpha you are, the more you're able to handle pressure of situations or the frames. It was sort of interesting. First and foremost, he did absolutely great. And the reason he did great was this. He just wanted to be with the herd that he's been traveling all this time with. And we pulled him away from the herd. He's in an environment that he doesn't really know. Yes, they've been here for 4 or 5 days. But I don't think he's been up to the back with all the other horses. So right off the bat, he got pulled away from the herd. Pressure number one. And then secondly, I've never really met him before. And all of a sudden this guy comes along and he starts flinging a rope at me, you know, and telling me to do blah, 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 blah. And all he wants to do is go back to his herd, which at the same time, the herd was calling back for him. So you have those dynamics going on. So the pressure right off the bat has gone up. Just the fact that he was able to do that and also work with us with nothing attached. And then me asking of him things that he's not necessarily wanting to do because he wants to go back to his herd, such as go in a particular direction at a trot. Or then I would take my lariat, and as you can see, I'm not a cowboy. So in doing what I'm doing, I use this lariat and I would do different things with it. And what I'm looking for is keep your feet still. So just to have to deal with all of that pressure, it's really difficult. And then, like, I was really proud of him was, one of the things that I do is put the rope around his hind end. And my body on my reins, the pressure I put on my legs, and I'm asking him to follow me. And usually you put a rope around the hind end of a horse and they go scooting off, rightfully so. But it was kind of cool that he worked through that. And what was really neat was when I was starting to work him and we were doing the different exercises, he would leave. Fantastic. The more he left, the louder he told me to get, which then pushed his negative pole up, which then built his mental tools. So that's where the growth happens. So what started happening was, as soon as I lifted my voice up and made that noise, because we're now creating a new past, he's realized, because I'm letting him tell me what to do, when to do, how to do, and I'm just sticking with the picture, and I'm not worrying about why are you doing that. He's telling me at that moment, I have to raise his negative pole up and apply pressure. Why? Because I'm here to help him to help himself. And this is the difference. I'm not helping him. By giving him these tools, I'm helping him to help himself to where now he has a choice. Instead of flee, freeze, fight, how can I help you? Alpha mindset. So every time he leaves, I raise the pressure up even louder. And people would say, well, why are you raising pressure up even louder? Simple. Why is he leaving? Why can't he stay there with me and do what I'm asking him to do? Because obviously the pressure created by what I'm doing is reminding him of something whose pressure is greater than what I'm asking of him. Now the problem with that is, I don't know how much that pressure is. So by upping it each time a little bit more, in that process, when I'm upping it, he now has a problem. So that's when he's working on the mental tools, patience, timing, field, problem solving, yada, 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 yada. And that's where the growth happens. And then all of a sudden, his mental tools become greater than the pressure created by what I'm asking, and he'll come back. And then I go again. So in doing whatever task I'm doing, let's say there were 20 frames to swing the rope and touch his leg. Swing, 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 swing. So that 20 frames before the rope touches him. So he might get to frame number 4 and go, pressure too great. And then he leaves. Great. Then I raise the pressure up even more. So maybe the pressure of frame number 5, which is a little bit more than frame number 4, as the rope starts coming to him, he can now then handle. To where he can then handle when the rope touches him, and then I release, and he doesn't move, and guess what? He didn't die. And that's how you build trust. Because this is not, I'm making a mistake. This is just feeling the temperature. So when I'm using the energy to get that rope to move, the pressure created by that, the energy created by that, is causing his negative pole to go up. Which in the wild, which is where he comes from, says to him, if you don't move those feet and go in the opposite direction as quickly as you possibly can, we eat in dinner. So by doing this and helping him to help himself realize that when that goes up, it's not a mistake but an opportunity, and then he didn't die, that's not when he's trusting me. I'm helping him to trust himself, to trust the pressure created by us. At the end of it, while doing all this stuff around his head with the rope, then I would start asking for the head to come down, not working on the ears. Instead of saying to them, do something, I give them something else to do. head down, head down, head down. And it's great because he doesn't want to put his head down. Fantastic. I keep doing it and then slip my finger around his ears and then slowly stop pulsating. And then all of a sudden, the minute I feel him do alpha, head gives a little bit, not just puts it down, but gives it to me, I shut off the picture. I don't necessarily release, I just shut off the picture. When I shut off the picture, there's no energy coming from me because my negative pole goes down. When my negative pole goes down, he feels that because that's how they communicate. And as soon as he feels that, release. Now, there are times when I started doing that and he wanted to pull away. I don't fight him. I don't grab him and fight him. I go with him, but what I do is I raise my voice up, not my hands. And because of him leaving before, he realized if I come back, the pressure releases. So as soon as I raise my voice up, instead of him taking off, he's actually coming back.
Hey! Up!
So yeah, by sharing and building those tools and giving them those tools, they're starting now to be able to handle pressure in the world we've created, but not taking that nature away from them. Thanks a lot, Bruce Anderson, Nature's View, Natural Humanship, and Working with Horses.
Somewhere in here. Okay. And they all happen to be about 20 miles apart.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by España Silk Grooming Products. España Silk products are made with the finest and safest ingredients available and have been formulated to hydrate and reduce static to bring out the natural luster of your hair and your pet's manes, tails, and coats. Special thanks to Trudy and España Silk for their longtime support of the film festival. In this Mustang story short, we'll do a flashback all the way to the beginning of the Mustang Discovery Ride. We're in Delaware at Micah Scarborough's farm with Juanita Milling, our first support driver. We're packing up the gear into a van provided by the Delmarva chapter of the American Mustang and Burro Association.
I know I can register him through AMBA and have him documented that way, but I would like to have something on him.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know how that works.
And I know the BLM won't brand them born out of their possession,
Yeah.
but I don't know, do any of the vets do branding? So who brands the
Do you guys brand
standardbreds
anything
and
out here?
stuff?
We'll take a break from loading and packing so that Lizanne can introduce Finn, one of her Mustangs, and explain his BLM brand.
So Finn here, he has a 1 and a 1 on top of each other. And then as you read it across, they're all in 90-degree angles. And so his brand reads 6, 1, 6, 1, 9, and that's a 4. They're on the end. And these three numbers, if you know like your ranges, you can find out what state they're from, but you would have to contact the local or the BLM to find out exactly which herd they came out of.
So of all the horses, all the Mustangs, the Mulestang, everybody here is branded, right?
Yeah, everyone here is branded. We're only riding branded animals. There is talk of us actually bringing one of Hannah's Mustangs. He came off the Forest Service, so that's a different entity, but he was once wild for 15 years. But since he was a Forest Service rounded up animal, he doesn't have the BLM brand on him. He doesn't have any brand. So, but we kind of want to bring him just to show like the old guys can be trainable too. And there are more wild horses out there that aren't what are considered Mustangs, because Mustangs are only BLM animals. So yeah, but everyone we have here with us, they all have a lovely brand with them.